My name is Ashley, and this is Let's Talk Dispatch.
I do. You're gonna do it. Do it really well.
And I believe the world needs more dispatchers.
Around in the mud, blood, and beer.
Years that I'm not working 4th of July. 4th of July.
Say community policing, right? What about community dispatch?
So on this show, with the help of my guests, we will educate, empower, and support the heroes behind the headset. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode here on Let's Talk Dispatch with me, Ashley, the Raspy Dispatcher. Today's episode is a minisode from our segment, If This Wasn't a Recorded Line. It's where you folks out there submit a story onto my website, theraspydispatcher.com. And it could be as anonymous as you'd like to be. It's not required to enter your name or anything like that. So as anonymous as you would like to be, you can go share your story, the good, the bad, the hilarious, everything in between. If anything, if it's somewhere you just want to dump your story, get it off your chest, we're here for that. And it's also an opportunity to share a situation that you yourself have been through and that I'm sure a lot of folks who are in this line of work can relate to. So today's minisode was a submission from a dispatcher, Cherise Clogston. The subject of the email is continue to show up and serve. Working for a small agency and being the only police fire dispatcher working on shift is great for no drama, but in critical incident, it is extremely challenging to say the least. You become very close to your police units. You get to know and hear about their families, dating lives, buying their first homes, cars, and plenty of TMI. Ain't that the truth? They become your brothers and sisters, your family. There are advantages and disadvantages to this. The pain when something bad happens is intensified. On April 24th, 2022, it was by far the worst shift I have ever worked. I took a 911 call for a domestic. The female was scared on the phone and had her and their young child in the bathroom. And the husband was somewhere in the house, irate, and had a weapon. While still on 911, I started dispatching my patrol units to the scene. As the units arrived on scene, the husband shot out of the upstairs window. I heard the shot over the phone. The wife screamed, and another unit came over the radio and advised shots fired, officer down, all simultaneously. I froze for a second, and by the grace of God was able to then compose myself to continue talking with the wife on 911 and proceed to get all of the possible help and resources to the officers still on scene. 5 years prior, I was involved in an officer-involved shooting. 2 officers were hit but had survived and had returned to work. I say this because them returning to work gave me the hope and strength to continue working until I could get help in dispatch. Eventually, relief was able to come in as well as most of the department at this time. I am extremely grateful how our small department pulls together in major incidents. They finally were able to pull me off the desk, and I was told the most tragic news that one of my officers had been killed in the line of duty. That same officer was one of the 2 that back in May 2017 had been shot as well. The disbelief and shock was of a magnitude I had never felt before. My heart was and is still broken. He was a brave young man that had served his whole life to give to others. He was a fireman, EMT, and ultimately a K-9 police officer. He loved to serve others, God, his parents, and his friends and co-workers. We have become close after his first shooting, and losing him has been a tremendous loss. We would joke around a lot, to include that night when he came to visit me early on in the shift. He gave me a hug and told me he was going to find something to get into. And I said back, okay, just be careful and don't go and get yourself shot again. I felt lots of guilt for sending him to that call, for my last words to him, even if it was in kind jest and mostly of being involved in the incident that would never allow him to go home and see his mom again. Therapy and the support of my department and fellow brothers and sisters has been incredible. I choose to honor my fallen brother, friend, coworker by showing up and continuing to serve. Man, first and foremost, Cherise, thank you so much for submitting this story, being willing to be so vulnerable. It is hard working as a dispatcher for a department when there's a officer down call. I've lived it, I've experienced it, let alone to go through two with the same officer, and the second time that officer not being able to go home to their families is extremely tough, extremely tough. And you're right, continuing to show up and serve is one of the hardest parts and aspects of this job, even just from taking hard and tough calls, let alone one of the officers or folks you dispatch out getting hurt on the job in some way. But continuing to show up and serve is the way that we continue to support ourselves, support each other. And I am so happy to hear that your department and your coworkers have been so supportive through these tough things for the dispatch center, because it's not always the case, unfortunately. So again, Cherise, thank you so much for sharing this story with us, for everything that you do, for the support you give your officers and the community that you serve. Thank you so much. If you are interested in submitting a story to us here at the Raspy Dispatcher, all you have to do is head to theraspydispatcher.com, click on the Tell Your Story link, and there is a form there that you can submit your story. And again, it can be as anonymous as you would like to be. And it could be the good, the bad, the hilarious, anything in between. Just a place for us to share the things that we come across, the things we deal with in this line of work. Until next time, everybody, stay raspy. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Let's Talk Dispatch, a Raspy Dispatcher production. If you like the podcast, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a 5-star review, and of course, tell a friend. If you want to be a guest, head to theraspydispatcher.com and check out our additional resources. Until next time, stay raspy, everybody.